and welcome. My name is Liz Holloway and I am the creator of Liz Holloway Designs, and I apologize that I have been away for a month traveling around China, Hong Kong, and Japan. I want to show you how I create this particular card. All the recipes will be linked to my blog and you'll find it at lizhollowaydesign.ca, and I will link it to the end of this tutorial. So let's get started. What you're going to need is any kind of washi tape, which is about 1 inch or half an inch thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my grid sheet so that it will protect my surface here. So this is the Stampin' Up! Grid sheet. And what I'm going to do is I am going to line this up. This is my Whisper White cardstock. And so what I'm going to do is line this up to my grid sheet. And I'm going to take my washi tape and peel it off. And so what I'm creating is this striped lines. And sometimes when you need these striped lines, you need striped lines for any occasions that you, when it comes to creating cards. We don't have a lot of stripes, so why not make your own? Make your own stripes. So what I'm doing is now taking my washi tape and lining it up so that it's right along the grid line. And so what I'm doing now is, depending on how thick of a line you want, you can move it up and down. So right now I'm creating my line, and it's about every half inch of my grid. So pasting this down. And you can do whatever size you wish you want to do. So here I am putting this one down right about here. Okay. The other retiring favorite color that I like is the eggplant. The elegant eggplant, which is this color, and I'm using my dauber. And so what I'm doing is just taking this color and making it eggplant stripes, and just applying it right across the white stripe. And you can apply it as dark as you want or as light as you want. With this particular card, I think I did the Perfect Plum or the Wisteria Wonder. I can't remember. It's been a while since I actually created this. And now I'm just doing a video tutorial for the blog hop. And just applying a darker color as I want the stripes to be a bit darker than normal. And then once it's dried, it actually dries a lot lighter. Using my finger dauber and just going back and forth. And then once you got your color consistency, you can go ahead and remove the washi tape. And what I love about the washi tape is that it doesn't really stick onto your work surface, so you can reuse the washi tape again. and it gives you this nice crisp clean lines between your stripes. And I'm just putting the washi tape on the side so that when it comes to redoing this again, I have my washi tape available for me and I don't have to waste it. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, because my finger got a little bit of ink on it, it is okay, because what I'm going to do is now go back and add little dots on there and just randomly add the dots using the same colors. The eggplant, elegant eggplant, and just randomly add that in. Okay, and then as you go along, you should clean up your stamp set. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit set aside and let it dry. The next thing I like to show you is that this is our watercolor paper, and what I'm doing now is taking my Versamark and just inking it down. But before I do that, I'm going to apply embossing buddy all over the watercolor paper so that any excess of the powder I don't need. And I'm going to stamp this twice because there's enough room to have this. So I'm going to just lightly press onto it. And then I'm going to stamp one more time so that I'm not wasting the watercolor paper. Turn this around, and I'm going to get this closer to the bottom as well. And then what I'm going to do is take my black embossing powder and sprinkle it right on. Now the black embossing powder is not available in this particular catalog, but it is in the new 2018-2019 catalog. I think because we asked for it to come back and they actually put it back. Okay, so then I'm gonna recycle this, and I'm using coffee filter, and you see how clean the coffee filter becomes, right? And then just put it right back into your canister. And I have like a container of IKEA canister which holds all my embossing powder. Okay, so now that this is embossed, go ahead and take your heat tool and let it heat up. And I'm putting on setting 2. And I'm heating it up until the black powder is melted. Okay, so once you got this all embossed, you can go ahead and fussy cut this. Now, I decided that I'm not going to let you watch me fussy cut, so I've already cut this all out in advance so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my eggplant, elegant eggplant markers, and so what I'm doing now is applying the purple right onto the flower, and where it's darker, this is where I want my coloring to be. Okay, so I'm taking that and then just adding where I want the dark areas to be. And then what I'm doing now is taking my aqua painter, which is already filled with water, and then you need a dry cloth to dry it all up. And so what I'm doing is just squeezing the barrel and applying the ink all over the bloom, just kind of quickly adding the color in, not really caring about where the color goes, just quickly applying it. Now I like using the embossing powder and the line is because when you are adding multiple different colors, the colors are not going to bleed. So I'm going to keep blending this darker area until I get the right consistency of coloring that I would like it to be. Now it's light for my liking, which is alright for now, just for the video. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and color all the flowers in. Remember, when it dries, it gets a little bit lighter, so it is okay to do that. Okay, so as you can see, the watercolor is now mixed in and coloring all the flower. Now, for me, I like to have white white images, and so what I'm doing now is just wiping off all the water off of there and then pulling the color back and wiping it all off again, and you can see that the white is now showing, is actually lifting the color off, and basically I want the white, a bit of white to show right onto the top. So if you're getting too much ink onto the flowers, you can actually pull it back to get some white out. So here I've got too much purple that I don't like, so I'm just squeezing the barrel to get it all wet. Let the color flow. Okay, and then wiping the aqua painter onto a dry cloth and then pulling the colors off and pulling it backwards so that it just blends. Okay, and then the same thing with the flower. Anywhere that you want highlighted, just pull it back to remove some coloring. And doing this by using the watercolor paper is actually easier for it to pull back. It's because the water sits in the crevices. And just pulling some of the colors back just to give it the white look. Okay, so here is that, and then it looks like I have miscutting a certain part of the leaves, so I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut that part out. Okay, and then what I'm doing now is going to take my Wild Wasabi and I'm going to press the ink pad, getting a pool of ink right in here. Make sure that my aqua painter is clean, and so what I'm doing now is just painting on the greens for the leaves. I like that bright look. and then I'm gonna add a bit more tinting at the bottom. Okay, and then clean that right off. Okay, and then then the next thing I want to do is take my wording. This is for you. And so basically my acrylic block already have engraved lines on it. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking the 4 and lining it up to the grid line. Okay, and taking my ink, my masterpiece, my stripe piece, okay, dousing it with Embossing Buddy, and then taking the Versamark, tap, 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 and basically I'm gonna line up before I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna make sure that my flowers is sitting where I want it to be, and then all I'm doing is taking that line across the acrylic and making sure that it is straight. Leave it for a couple seconds, 1, 2, 3, and that's what I always tell my clients to do, is so that the ink sits in there. And then taking the black embossing powder, where is my dousing it, the For You, making sure that I don't have any other excess of powder. Okay, and then so now I'm going to take my heat tool again and heat it up. Okay, and then this is applied onto the Perfect Plum, and I'm just using multi-purpose glue. And lining it right up flush to the right hand side, leaving a border. So just flushing it down, pressing it down to the bottom. And I got okay, and then taking my multi-purpose glue and then adding glue to the back of the image. And just letting it hang outside the border. Okay, and then taking your base card, which is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and then just add it to your base card. And then again, aligning this at the right hand side, flushed right, giving that look. And there you have it. Custom stripes, whatever you want, and 2 different styles just for you. So I'm glad that you are joining in today. Please leave a comment, and I will be back as soon as I can when my stamping blog is up and fresh in the head. And stay tuned for new products coming out. Thanks for joining in. If you have any questions, just give me a call or email me, and I can be reached liz.holloway@gmail.com, and I will be happy to help you with anything. Thanks for that. Bye-bye. have any questions, I can be reached at liz.holloway@gmail.com, or the following Facebook pages: Liz Holloway Design, Canadian Paper Craft Cards and Scrapbook. Thanks for joining in, and have a great day.